At 65 years old, Mike Wallace was ready to make history as one of the oldest contenders in the Daytona 500. His story was set to be one of inspiration and determination. Armed with a winning record, a tough training routine, and a deeply personal goal to honor his late wife, Carla, Wallace's return to the track was poised to be one of the greatest stories in NASCAR history. But just as the excitement was building, an unexpected phone call changed everything. It left me and I guess the whole racing community in shock and sparked the debate about fairness, legacy, and the future of the sport. Wallace's career is marked by impressive achievements. He has won a combined 9 races in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Notably, 2 of these victories came at the iconic Daytona International Speedway, one of the most challenging and prestigious courses in NASCAR. His experience and success at Daytona made his potential return to the Daytona 500 even more thrilling for fans. Scheduled to drive the number 66 MBM Motorsports car, Wallace was on the verge of becoming the second oldest driver to start the race. This milestone was anticipated by racing enthusiasts across the nation. But on a seemingly ordinary Monday afternoon, Wallace received a phone call that would change his plans completely.
The headlines are right. So Mike received a phone call from Elton Sawyer, and Elton said, Mike, we're disqualifying you, not just from the Daytona 500, but anything in NASCAR. So Elton Sawyer told Mike that, Mike, because of your inactivity, you haven't done any racing in 5 years.
Despite the reassurances he received from NASCAR officials, Wallace found himself abruptly sidelined, leading to frustration and confusion. The significance of this decision is amplified by the extent of Wallace's preparations. He began a rigorous physical training regimen, losing weight and working out daily to ensure he was in peak condition. Wallace described how he had met all of NASCAR's safety requirements, undergoing health checks, drug tests, and physical tests at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. He even went a step further, volunteering to wear a special data-gathering mouthpiece during practice sessions to contribute valuable information about driver safety. His return was anticipated by fans and supported by MBM Motorsports, but NASCAR's decision to disqualify him due to his long absence from the sport led to a public outcry. Wallace's career in NASCAR spans over 30 years, with his debut in the Busch Series and Winston Cup taking place in 1990. Throughout his career, he participated in more than 809 NASCAR National Series events, including 197 in the Cup Series. Despite his extensive experience and numerous victories, including wins at the Daytona International Speedway, Wallace never secured a win in the Cup Series. His commitment to the sport is evident, with a total of 9 wins in the Xfinity and Truck Series. Wallace's commitment extended beyond physical preparation. He made significant financial investments to ensure he was race-ready. He spent $2,000 on a custom seat mold for the number 66 MBM Motorsports Ford Mustang, and he purchased a new helmet and fire suit to meet the latest safety standards for the 2025 NASCAR season. These investments were not just about racing. They are about honoring his late wife, Carla. Wallace's story is deeply personal. He shared how this race was more than just a return to the track. It was about his family, his kids, and his grandkids. It was a way to honor Carla's memory and their shared love for racing. He had envisioned this race as a celebration of her life, with cherished memories of their time together in Victory Lane. Wallace has always had a deep love for racing, whether it was at Daytona or other iconic tracks. His desire to compete in the Daytona 500 was not just about personal achievement, but also about contributing to his team, MBM Motorsports. Well, the team faced a tough situation. By early January, they had neither a driver nor a sponsor, which was a stark contrast to their position just a month earlier. Wallace expressed his concern not only for himself, but also for the team. He was worried about their ability to find a qualified driver and secure the necessary funding to participate in the race. But this decision by NASCAR to deny Wallace the opportunity to attempt to qualify for the Daytona 500 had far-reaching consequences. It highlighted issues within the approval process and sparked passionate discussions among fans and drivers. Many pointed out inconsistencies in NASCAR's decisions, especially when compared to other drivers who were granted exemptions. One notable comparison was with Helio Castroneves, a 4-time Indianapolis 500 winner. Despite never having competed in a NASCAR Cup race, Castroneves was awarded an open exemption for the Daytona 500. Wallace found this particularly frustrating because while Castroneves had no experience with NASCAR's next-gen car, he was still given a guaranteed starting position. Wallace, on the other hand, was denied the chance to even attempt to qualify. NASCAR's justification for their decision centered on Wallace's lack of recent racing experience, particularly on intermediate and larger tracks. Since 2015, Wallace had not raced on such tracks, which NASCAR cited as a reason for his rejection. They also emphasized his lack of experience with the next-gen car, which debuted in 2022. This explanation did little to quell the debate, especially given other cases of senior drivers making comebacks. For example, Morgan Shepherd was allowed to compete in the Daytona 500 at 2014 at the age of 72, and Derek Cope qualified for the event in 2021 at 62. Cope's performance in 2021 was underwhelming, finishing 40th after only 3 laps, and his near mishap in the dual race raised safety concerns. These precedents made NASCAR's decision regarding Wallace seem inconsistent to many. Wallace's situation led to questions about NASCAR's eligibility requirements. Some in the online NASCAR community argue that if a driver like Jeff Gordon, who hasn't competed since 2015, wanted to enter in 2026, he should also be denied based on the precedent set with Wallace. This debate about fairness and consistency in NASCAR's decisions continues to be a topic of discussion among fans and insiders alike. Throughout this ordeal, Wallace remained hopeful and determined to support his team. He wanted MBM Motorsports to succeed, even if he couldn't be the one driving. Throughout his career, Mike Wallace has participated in various NASCAR series. In the Cup Series, he made 197 starts, achieving 14 top 10 finishes. In the Xfinity Series, he competed in 497 races, securing 4 wins and 66 top 10 finishes. Also in the Truck Series, Wallace made 115 starts, earning 5 victories and 56 top 10 finishes. But again, in 2020, Wallace faced a similar setback when NASCAR suspended him indefinitely for violating its member conduct guidelines due to a social media post. And this disqualification was a surprise, especially since Wallace had been given verbal assurances by NASCAR management that he could attempt to qualify for the Daytona 500. This race is one of the most prestigious in the NASCAR calendar, making the decision even more significant. Wallace expressed his frustration openly, stating that he felt disrespected after dedicating over 3 decades to the sport. The decision also affected MBM Motorsports, owned by Carl Long. As an open team in the Cup Series, they do not have a guaranteed starting spot and rely on funded drivers to secure their place in races. Wallace's disqualification left the team scrambling to find another driver for the Daytona 500. The Daytona 500 is a crucial event in the NASCAR season, attracting top drivers and teams from around the world. Now, whatever your thoughts are, just write them down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well.